Hey everyone, I'm Frank from the City of Games, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to play the Isle of Cats. Now, if you'd like to learn how to play the easier family mode, there's also a how to play video available for that as well. So, with that said, let's get started. We are heading to the Isle of Cats, where we're going to be rescuing cats from the island before the evil Lord Vesh arrives and destroys their home. The first thing you're going to do is take the island board, make sure you've got the red cat symbol up. You'll notice on the other side there is a green cat symbol. This represents the family mode. We're playing the standard mode, and we're going to place this somewhere in the middle of the table. Once we've done that, we're going to take Vesh's boat that represents the armies of Vesh that are on their way to the island, and we're going to place this over the 5 space. We're going to play over 5 days or 5 rounds, and on each day, as Vesh gets closer, we're going to be rescuing more cats, finding treasures, and reading lessons. When Vesh arrives at the island, we're all going to run away, we're going to look at our stuff, count up our points, and whoever's got the most is going to be the winner. So, put the boat on the 5 space. As well as cats, we're going to find other things such as common treasures. We're going to put the common treasures below the island. There are 4 different types of common treasures, and the number of which you're going to want to put is going to be dependent on the player count. We're playing a 2-player game, so we're going to have 5 of each of these treasures, and we're going to place them here. In a 3-player game, you're going to want to have 8. In a 4-player game, you're going to want to have 11, and these numbers are available in the setup section of the rulebook should you need to look at them. With the common treasures in place, we're going to take the Oshaks, which are the special white cats you're going to find on the island, and we're going to place these underneath the common treasures. So, for example, we're going to just place these along here. The order does not matter. You just want to make sure that you've got all 6 of them underneath and in a place that everyone can see them. With that done, we'll start setting up the supplies. We will put the cat meeples somewhere people can reach. There are 5 different colours, the blue, red, purple and green. We're going to put the fish tokens and the permanent baskets next to them. And we're also going to take the discovery cards, which are the blue backed cards, and we're going to put these on the table as well. You'll notice the game comes with green and purple backed cards, and those are for the other modes that you won't be needing now. Make sure these are shuffled, put them down on the side, and we're good to get started. Each player is going to take a boat board, they're going to open it up, and they're going to put it in front of them. Just like with the island board, you're going to want to make sure that you've got this with the red icon up, as the other side is the family mode. In our 2-player game, we're going to put one boat here to represent us, another boat over here to represent another player, so we can continue. Each player is also going to take a permanent basket, and they're going to put these next to their boats. So, for example, in our 2-player game, each player will get 1 permanent basket, so we'll put them next to their ship so everyone can see whether they've been used or not. Now that's done, the last thing is players need to choose a colour to represent them on the turn order track. Take the cat meeples, each player can choose their favourites. I'm a big fan of purple, this player over here is going to be a fan of red, and then we're going to randomly decide who gets to be the first player. These colours won't impact anything in the game, they purely represent you on the turn order track. We're going to end up with our purple player, us, in first place. We're going to end up with the red player in second. As you play through the game, you can use cards to determine whether you should move up or down in order. So, we're good to get started, and you can see in the top right hand corner there is a round summary. We're going to go through this 5 times as we play through the game, and in the bottom left hand corner you'll see there is a scoring summary which is going to tell you how you score points throughout the game. So, the first thing we're going to do is add 2 cats per player to each of the fields. The fields are the 2 sides of the island. You'll see there's a 3 fish symbol and a 5 fish symbol, and this is how we kind of refer to them, the 3 fish field and the 5 fish field. We're playing with 2 players, so 2 cats per player is 2 multiplied by the number of players, which would become 4, so we have 4 cats on each side. We're going to take the discovery bag, we're going to reach into it, and we're going to start putting cats at random onto the side. So we've got 2 purple cats that have come out over here, and our next 2 cats are going to be a red cat and a blue cat. There are 5 different coloured cats in total, represented by the meeples and the cat tiles. So that is 2 cats per player on the left field. We're going to have 2 cats per player on the right field. Now sometimes you'll notice, as well as drawing out cats, you'll also find rare treasures. If you do find a rare treasure, this does not count as a cat, it simply comes down next to the common treasures in a place that you can see, and you continue drawing cats. You're going to want to make sure that you end up with exactly 2 cats per player on each side. We got another rare treasure. You can see the rare treasures versus the common treasures because they're larger and they're gold, and now we finally got our 4 cats. Sometimes you won't see any rare treasures. Sometimes you'll see a lot of them. They're rare and they can be a little bit sneaky. So we've set up our islands and now we're ready to go fishing. Every player is going to get 20 fish. So we're going to take 4 of the 5 fish tokens. There are 5s and there are 1s. We're going to put them in front of us. Equally for the other player, we're going to give those 20 fish as well. If you've got any fish left over at the end of the round, you will get to keep them, meaning that if you've not spent some fish, it's not that they're wasted, you're just going to get more fish to use later. With fishing done, we're going to move on to step 2, which is Expiration. You can see here it says 7 cards, and this is going to represent the discoveries we find as we go across the island. Each player is going to be dealt 7 cards, and of course this will be at random because the deck has been shuffled. They're going to look at their 7 cards, that would be 6 and that would be 7, and then they're going to get to choose which ones they want to keep, or perhaps they want to keep. And we'll talk about that in a moment. Let's look at our 7 cards. We're going to choose 2 of these cards which we would like. So we're going to take this card and we're going to put it face down, this card and put it face down, and we're going to pass the other 5 cards to the player next to us. At the same time, they would have looked at their cards, chosen 2, and passed 5 cards to us. We're now going to look at the cards we've been chosen, we're going to look at them, we're going to choose 2 more, pass these other 3 cards to the person next to us, and at the same time, they're going to choose 2 cards from the 5 they've got, pass them to us, and we continue going back and forwards. We're going to choose these 2, pass this card across, they're going to choose these 2, pass this card across, that just gets added to our hand. So at this point, each player has basically chosen 6 and been given 1 card. And now you get to decide which of those cards you would like to actually keep. You will notice in the top left hand corner they have a number. This one has a 2, a 3, a 2, a 1, a 5, a 2 and a 2. And this represents how much fish is going to cost you to keep that discovery. So if we wanted to keep all of our cards, it's going to cost us 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13, 15, 17 fish. We've only got 20, so that might be too expensive. Let's assume that we're not going to keep those ones. They simply get discarded from the game, and we're going to keep these. This would cost us 7, so we're going to give 10 fish to the supply. We're going to take 3 fish in change, and we've now got our 13 fish, and we're good to go, and the other player would do the same. Now we're going to move on to the next step, which is reading lessons. For the purpose of this teach, we're going to assume that we've kept all of the cards so I can show you the different options. Now, let's have a look. We've got 2 blue cards. Blue cards are the lessons, and we're simply going to read them. Make sure we're aware of them. We're going to check that it just says lesson in the bottom left hand corner, and then once we're comfortable with them, we're just going to put them face down next to our boat. We're going to lay them out so people can see how many we've got, and we can look at them anytime we want, but other players shouldn't see them. However, if you see that you've got a blue card, such as our other player here, and it says public lesson, then this card gets played face up in a place that everyone can see, and you should clearly declare it so everyone knows. These will always say all players get, so whilst these lessons are ones that are going to be personal to the player, public lessons are going to be public for everybody. You see it says pick a colour. At this time, the player who played the card is going to get to pick a colour. They can choose any of the 5 cat colours they wish. Let's say, for example, we choose green, and they get to put a green cat figure on there to show that green's been chosen, and this is going to be something that scores points for all players at the end of the game. It says all players get 1 point per cat of the chosen colour, green, that's on their boat. So now we all know green cats are going to be worth 1 extra point to us at the end of the game. With reading lessons complete, we're now ready to rescue some cats, and this is where the game starts to allow us to put things onto our boat. Each player will look at their green cards and choose which they wish to play. You don't have to play them, you could keep them, but if you do play them, even if you don't use them, they will be discarded at the end of the round. We're going to choose to play all of our cards. So we're going to put them face down, and then the next player is going to go. We do this in turn order. We're the first player. We've played 3 cards. The second player is going to look at their green cards, and they're going to say, how many do I want to play? And also, maybe based on how many cards we've played, that's going to change their opinion. In this instance, they've got 2 green cards, they're going to play them both, and we're good to go. Once all players have played their cards, we flip them over and reveal them. So we can see over here that we've got 1 whole basket, another whole basket, and 1 half basket or a broken basket. Our other player over here has got half a basket, and that's it. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boots. They've got 4 boots. So the first thing we do once cards have been revealed is determine turn order. Whoever's got the most boots is going to be the fastest, and they're going to be the first player from this point onwards. We've got 7, they've got 4, and that means turn order won't change. If it was a tie, again, turn order wouldn't change, but if the second player had been fastest, they would move to the top. Once that's done, any cards that just have boots on them, such as this one, can be discarded because it has been used. We're now going to take it in turns to rescue cats. So I can rescue 1 cat per basket, and as you can see, I've got 2 baskets here. Unfortunately, a half basket can't be used on its own, but let's say that this player had 2 half baskets, they could combine them to make 1 basket. You'll also notice that we've got a permanent basket. So while cards are things that we can play and use once, permanent baskets are something we can use every single round. And as such, we've got 3 baskets to use, and this player now has got 2 baskets to use. We take turns in rescuing cats, and we rescue them 1 at a time. So for us, we're going to look at the cats available. We're going to think, well, green cats are worth 1 point. Perhaps that's going to be something good. There's lots of purples, and we're going to make our decisions. Any cat from over here that we rescue is going to cost us 3 fish. Any cats from over here will cost us 5 fish. So we're going to play a basket. We're going to spend 3 fish, and we're going to choose to rescue one of these cats. We're going to take this cat over here, and we're now going to place it on our boat. What you will notice is the first cat tile you place or treasure onto your boat can go anywhere you like. You can flip it, you can rotate it, as long as it's within the outer edge and meets up with the grid, it can go anywhere. It can cross rooms, it can go on maps and over rats, it's up to you. So we're going to take this first piece and we're going to decide to place this one over here. In fact, we'll put it here just to show you it doesn't have to touch the edge. Once that's placed, we're done. It moves on to the next player. They're going to spend some fish. They're going to use some baskets. They're going to rescue a cat. And it comes back to us. We keep going round until everyone's run out of fish, baskets, or passed. So let's say we're going to now spend our next card, and we also would like to rescue this cat. This one is over on this side, and it's going to cost us 5, so we're going to spend 5 fish, and we can place this on our boat. As we've already got 1 tile, from here on out, every tile we place has to be touching a previously placed piece. We cannot place this one over here because they would not be touching. Touching does not include diagonals, so this would not be valid. However, we could put this like this. You will notice on your boat that you have 5 different treasure maps, and they're 5 different colours, 1 colour for each of the cats. If you put a cat over a treasure map of a matching colour, so a blue cat onto a blue treasure map, like such, this will allow you to take one of the 4 common treasures as a reward. You can take any of them, but once they've run out, they've run out. For example, we might take this one. Now, you can again place this anywhere you like as long as it's touching a previously placed piece. So for us, we may place this one over here. That would be our turn done, and we'd go back to the next player. You will also notice that when you place tiles, you can place a cat or a treasure over a treasure map that it doesn't match, and you simply won't get the bonus. So for example, I could place this over here, I just wouldn't get a common treasure. As well as our basket cards, as I mentioned, we've got a permanent basket. So we've still got one more basket. We've still got 5 more fish. Our other player has decided to pass, so we're going to get a chance to rescue one more cat. In this instance, we're simply going to turn over the permanent basket to the grey side to show it's been used. We're going to spend 5 more fish, and we're going to take one of these cats. We're going to place this onto our boat over here, and then we would be done. Once the rescue phase has been complete, we're then going to move on to rare finds, which are the Oshaks and treasure cards. So each player is going to look at their cards and look for any yellow or brown cards, and then they're going to get to choose to play them. Equally, we're going to play these in order, just like we did with the rescue cards. So players are going to get to decide. Our player here is going to say, I would like to play this card, one of the treasure cards, and this says take any two small treasures. So you could take any 2 of the small ones. You can see this is the 1x1 or the 2x1. So these 2 common treasures over here, or pay a fish to take any 2 common treasures. So I could spend 1 fish to take the larger ones. Unfortunately, I don't have any fish, so I'm simply going to take 2 of the smaller treasures from over here. I'm going to use one of these nicely over here to fill this space, and then I'm going to put one of these over here just to help me start filling around the edge of my boat. With the card played, the other player could play any they've got. They could choose to play this one, comes back to us, and we've got an Oshaks card that we'd now like to play. The Oshaks cards allow you to take any of the 6 Oshaks that are available and to place it onto your boat. Let's say that we're going to play our Oshaks card, and we're going to choose to take one of these. We will take this Oshaks here, and we will place this onto our board. This follows all the normal rules. It's got to be touching a previously placed piece, but it can be rotated, can be flipped, and so on. The Oshaks want to be friends with other cats on your boat. So when you place one of these on the board, you can choose any of the available colours. For example, we might choose blue and put it onto the Oshaks. This shows that this Oshaks is now friends with this blue cat, and it will become part of their family. Players continue to play Oshaks and treasure cards until they run out, and then we move on to emptying the fields. At the empty the fields phase, it's fairly straightforward. We simply take any of the cats that have not been rescued, we put them back into the box, they will not be needed for the rest of the game, and we move on to the next round. To do this, we will move Vesh's boat down 1 space. If we get to the end, we will do scoring. Everyone flips over their permanent baskets, and we start again by filling the fields, going fishing, exploring, and so on. You will notice that we've not yet talked about purple cards, and these are special cards that can be played at any time, so they don't get played in a particular phase. It is up to you to choose when you wish to play them, and these are going to help you in all sorts of ways. For example, this one says place your next cat or treasure anywhere on your boat. So if you were to play this, let's say we were putting this treasure onto our boat, we would be able to place this one over here because it doesn't have to touch because of this card, and now it's been spent. This card here says discard any 2 treasures and gain 1 permanent basket. Keep in mind, whenever you discard something, it is something that you own. It's one of your lessons, your treasures, and so on. Public lessons that have been played do not count as yours once they have been played. So to discard this, I cannot discard other players' stuff, but I could choose to discard this treasure here and this treasure here. These will go back to the box, they do not become available again, and I gain a permanent basket. To do this, I simply take another permanent basket, place it next to my other permanent basket, and now I've got 2 baskets to use each round moving forward. Finally, you'll see something like this. Gain 2 fish for each Oshaks on your boat, which is simply a way for me to generate more fish to put onto my boat. I've got an Oshaks, I could play this, and I could simply take 2 fish now and place these onto my boat. Finally, I'd like to just jump into one last card, which is this treasure card, and you'll see that this one says take any rare treasure or 2 common treasures, and if you were to play this card, this would be allowing you to access the rare treasures which we set up during the game. So now we're going to play through 4 more rounds. Vesh is going to arrive and we'll move on to scoring. So let's talk about scoring. You're going to want to take the score pad, you're going to want to take the pencil and write everyone's name onto it. So we're going to put F for Frank over here, S for Sarah over here, and we're going to begin scoring. You will see the first thing we score for is blue families, green families, orange families, purple families, and red families. So let's talk about building families. Families are 3 or more cats of the same colour on your boat that are touching. So we've got 3 blue cats because this Oshax now counts as a blue cat because it's got the blue figure on it. We chose blue. And these are touching. That means that we've got a family of 3 blue cats. If we had more blue cats, for example, this one could be over here, this could now be a family of 4. And you'll see down in the scoring section it says 3 equals 8, so a family of 3 gives you 8 points. 4 equals 11, so a family of 4 is 11 points. 10 equals 40, so a family of 10 is 40 points. Every cat over 10 is going to be 5 extra points. So let's say that we've got our 3 cats, we're going to score 8 points. We don't have any green, orange, or purple or red families, so we're going to score nothing for these. You'll see that we do have a purple cat, however, it's not part of a family because it's not connected to other cats of the same colour. Equally, you can have multiple coloured families of the same colour. So, for example, let's say we had this here. Let's say we had this one over here. Let's say we had over here, and finally this one here. This would give us 2 families of 3, and we would get 8 points twice, which would be 16 points. So let's just adjust this to 16. Now we get points of rare treasures. Unfortunately, we discarded our rare treasure from our boat, but for each rare treasure we have on our boat, we're going to score 3 points and write this in. We're next going to score points for our lessons. So at this point, we're going to flip over our lesson cards and we're going to see what we've done. This one says 9 points if you've got exactly 5 blue cats on your boat. Unfortunately, we've got 6 because we've got these 2 here, these 3 here, but the Oshax does count as a blue cat, so we're not going to score this. If we had not taken this cat, then we would have scored the 9 points for having 5 blues, but these wouldn't have scored as a family. So that's the decision we would have had to make. This one says 12 points if there are no empty spaces at the edge of your boat. You should always take these cards to be as literal as you can. So in this example, it means every single square that's touching the edge following the normal touching rules, so not diagonals. If you filled all of those spaces, you're going to get 12 points. So let's put that to the side. We would write down how many points we've got for lessons, and then we'd move to public lessons. We would check any public lessons. Have we got any green cats? We do not, so we're not going to score any points, but if we did, we would score points and write them in. And now we're going to look at penalties. There are rats and rooms to consider. For every rat that we have not covered, we're going to lose 1 point. So in this example, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 rats that we've not covered. So we're going to lose 15 points, which means minus 15. Equally, we're now going to look at rooms. You will see your boat is made up of 7 rooms. There are multiple ways to determine which rooms are which. The floorboards rotate in orientation, the colouring does change, there are walls around them, but more importantly, there are also icons. Each room has a different icon, and the icons are in different corners. So for example, the bedroom here has the moon symbol in the bottom right corner, whilst the dining room has the apple symbol in the top right hand corner. So there's lots of ways to help you identify as you start filling up your boat how many rooms are not filled. There are 7 rooms in total. You've got this one over here, you've got 1 bedroom at the top, 1 bedroom at the bottom, dining room in the middle, you've got a tiny little room over here that we did fill, you've got a larger room here, and then all of the other squares that have no icon are considered the no icon room. So every square on your boat is a room. There are 7 rooms, and if you look in the rulebook, again there's a diagram that highlights all of this for you. So you're going to add up how many rooms you did not fill. In this instance, we did not fill any of these rooms, apart from the one at the end, which means there are 6 rooms we didn't fill, which means that we're going to get minus 30 points, as it's minus 5 points per room. Now, of course, we didn't really play too many rounds, so our score is going to be awful, but all players are going to count up how many points they've got. Whoever's got the most points is going to be the winner. If you've got any questions at all, please feel free to ask them in the comments below. I hope this video has been useful for you, and until next time, keep on adventuring.